Hey y'all, thanks for stopping by. So, there's a new hurricane brewing in the Gulf of Mexico right now called Milton. It should hit Florida by the end of tomorrow night, and Florida's already been heavily affected by hurricanes this season. The cleanup from Helene is still underway in that area. We're just got done with it in my area, but I know that I was very lucky for what happened. Western North Carolina and Florida are still heavily affected, and this new storm won't make things any easier for the state of Florida. I'm not going to bore you with how you can help out those states. The last video I made offered a Red Cross link, but I would still say do what you can to support your neighbors in this time of need because people are going to need a lot. What I have seen on the internet, rather than just people trying to help, are some of the wildest conspiracies I've seen about weather since chemtrails. Lots of people freaking out about letter to agencies doing their jobs. Notably NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, and FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency. These two have probably been in your feed a lot. Some people are under the impression that NOAA does more than tracking hurricanes and storms. They check out the weather. That's what they do. They have a lot of systems in place to track it as efficiently as possible, to update on ever evolving models of how to predict the weather. The reporting we've got out of NOAA, the data we've received about Milton, is incredible in the worst way possible. This is a legendary storm, seemingly top 5 in pressure readings that we've gotten, and especially for spawning in the Gulf of Mexico, which isn't exactly rare for storms, but as people have been saying for years about storms that cross through the Gulf of Mexico, that's very abnormally warm water due to man-made climate change. So these storms are very powerful. There are people who would suggest that this was a man-made storm, and not just crazies on the internet, the random wackadoo 500 follower account. No, we're talking about elected governmental officials. Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia suggesting that this is a man made storm, that they, quote unquote, can control the weather. When I was a kid, the weather control people were looked on as crazies. We weren't supposed to take them seriously, but this seems to be the modern conservative platform that somehow we have a weather control device, but we're only aiming it at Florida. We have a weather control device, but we're only aiming it at red states. That's what these people would like you to believe. Now, on top of that, we got weather control. Now we have disaster relief efforts that are only offering you less than $1,000 to rebuild your life. You've probably seen this repeated a lot, not just by elected officials, but by people who want to be your elected officials for the next 4 years as president and vice president. That our federal response is only for $750 for your relief, for your assistance in rebuilding your life after the storms that have passed. This is from Helene. And that couldn't be further from the truth. There is an immediate assistance that you can apply for $750. That is a grant from the government. It is not a loan. You're not going to be taxed for it. This is a grant from the government. If you don't know how grants work, the government gives money away sometimes just to give it away. Sometimes you have to do research for it. Sometimes it's just for fun. This isn't exactly a fun time, but you can consider it that way. There's no strings attached with this. If you've been affected, you fill out the site. You get your money. You get the assistance that you need. That's how the government should work. Whenever things go wrong, they help you. That's how FEMA is operating right now. They have lots of agents on the ground helping people out and, of course, trying to get people the financial assistance they need. But these sorts of just lies, blatant lies that people are posting online about what FEMA is capable of and what you can get from them, I don't know what the purpose of it is. To discourage your fellow Americans from trying to rebuild themselves, from trying to get the help that they need. Unless you want them to feel discouraged, unless you want them to feel there's no response from the federal government. But what's their alternative supposed to be? Practically every single Republican elected official who's complaining about the response that FEMA has right now for its citizens have voted against expanding FEMA's financial capabilities, has voted against more funding for that letter to agency. And I get that these people claim they want a small government and they don't want the government to be in your business, but Emergency responses for disasters, this is something we should fund. We should want to help Americans who are devastated from the effects of man made climate change to try and rebuild themselves. We shouldn't just leave people destitute. And if you vote against that, if you vote for people who vote against that, to me, you just seem like a traitor. You seem like an enemy of America at that point because you don't want to help the most destitute Americans. So, what does that mean for me? Now, as I've said, I was fine from Helene, and I'm in South Carolina, so Milton doesn't seem like it'll hit me. But for people in Florida, I hope you have the means to get out. I know that it's a hard thing to do to evacuate on short notice like that, and you might not have the financial capabilities to escape. And I hope for your safety. And if you have the means to donate, I've said the Red Cross before, if you know anybody who actually needs it, that you know them personally, help them out how you can. People are going to need a lot in the upcoming days, and we have to help each other. If you can get FEMA assistance, you should use it. If you qualify, you should apply. Check their websites, make sure what is actually the truth, and then use it while you can, because that's what it's there for. You shouldn't feel bad about getting government assistance when your life has been destroyed. That's what welfare is for. But, until the next time we get conspiracies from elected officials saying they control the weather or earthquakes, y'all try to have a good day.